Today we'll present for you an unsupervised manifold learning using high-order morphological brain networks derived from T1-weighted MRI for autism diagnosis. This project was developed at Basira Lab and the produced paper published in Frontiers in Neuroinformatics. The autism spectrum disease is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by varied impairments that affects brain connectivity and alters cognitive functions. 1 out of 68 children are diagnosed with autism in the United States. Recent technological advances in neuroimaging tools have largely aided in understanding how ASD alters the brain on a connectional level. However, due to its heterogeneity, depicting the core connectional patterns of ASD remains actually a challenging task. In the previous methods, the two most commonly used representations of brain connectivity networks are the functional and structural networks. However, the functional connectivity, which is derived from fMRI, can be sparse and noisy due to the low signal-to-noise ratio induced by non-neural noise and can be sensitive to several factors. Some of these factors are head motion and physiological artifacts. Also, the structural connectivity derived from DTI can be largely variable and biased by the used fiber tracking method. On the other hand, the machine learning methods aiming ASD diagnosis generally fall under the umbrella of supervised methods. However, these can be limited in terms of scalability as they require accurate labeling of medical data. Also, the number of studies using unsupervised learning for brain disease diagnosis are very limited, where only one paper was found for ASD identification. So, in order to overcome these limitations, we introduced a novel type of network, which is the morphological brain network based on conventional T1-weighted MRI in a low and high-order manners to identify the autistic subjects. This network can identify complex relationships between different regions in the brain based on shape connections. We used a novel unsupervised method called SIMLAR, a single-cell interpretation via multi-kernel learning. This technique has actually several merits. First, it learns efficiently a similarity matrix to encode the relationship between input connectomic samples by combining multiple kernels. And we know that learning a good similarity matrix between data samples produces better clustering results. So the key here is in learning a reliable similarity matrix. Second, it's scalable and separates subpopulations more accurately. And finally, it improves weak similarities between samples sharing similar neighbors through graph diffusion. Our proposed network is constructed in a low and high-order manner. In the low-order network, for each subject S, we construct a tensor TS of size NR by NR by NV, where NR is the number of arrows and NV is the number of the tensor frontal views. Basically, for each cortical attribute, for example cortical thickness, we construct a morphological network that constitutes a frontal view for the tensor TS. We should note that an element in the ith row and jth column in the kth frontal view of the tensor TS represents the absolute difference between the average value of the kth cortical attribute xik in the RY I and xjk in the RY j. Then we repeat the process for the four cortical attributes, which are the mean sulcal depth, the mean cortical thickness, the maximal principal curvature, and the mean of until we get our tensor TS. Now we get to the construction of the high-order morphological network. The basic idea is once we obtain the subject's tensor TS, we define the connectomic vector of subjects S, Yijs, representing the connectivity strength between the arrows I and J across all views. Then compute the Pearson correlation between each pair of vectors and construct our high-order morphological network HS for each subject S. Each element of the high-order morphological network HS encodes the correlation between two pairs of arrows. The first pair is composed of arrows I and J, and the second pair is composed of arrows K and L. This allows to capture higher-order relationship between multiple arrows across different brain morphological views. In this section, we propose to learn a similarity matrix encoding the relationship between the connectomic features of data samples. First, we define an input matrix that represents the horn features of all subjects. This matrix is of size n by nf, where n is the number of subjects and nf is the length of the feature vector. Then we use similar novel unsupervised clustering method, which actually learns weights associated with predefined multiple Gaussian kernels to capture the inherent statistical distribution of the data. These kernels are then averaged to obtain the learned similarity matrix S, and once S is computed, we perform dimensionality reduction using TSNE algorithm, which generates a latent matrix L of size n by C, where n is the number of subjects and C is the number of clusters. Then we apply K-means clustering on L to cluster the groups of autistic subjects and normal controls. In our case here, we have 4 clusters. This connectomic manifold is represented by the following optimization framework, where the first term refers to the relation between the similarity and the kernel distance with weights WL between 2 subjects I and J. The learned similarity should be small if the distance between a pair of subjects is large. HI and HJ represent the horn features. The second term is a regularization term which avoids overfitting the model to the data. Pitha is a parameter estimated empirically. The third term, we have L, a low-dimensional matrix that enforces the low-rank structure of S to discard outliers, and the matrix In minus S represents here the Laplacian matrix. The last term imposes constraints on kernels to avoid the selection of a single kernel. In order to identify the most discriminative features that were used for clustering our samples, we performed features ranking using the learned similarity S by measuring how each feature's value correlates with the learned similarity S. So given S and an horn feature vector HI for each subject I, we use the Laplacian score equation to score each feature. Since each feature in our case is a brain connection, this allows to identifying the top discriminative relationships between brain regions in our unsupervised data clustering task. In our experiments, we used 155 autistic subjects and 186 normal controls from the ABI dataset. We used FreeSurfer to reconstruct left and right hemispheres, and then each hemisphere was parcellated into 35 cortical regions using the Disigan-Killiani atlas. In order to assess the performance of our method, we benchmarked it to a variety of baseline methods, supervised, unsupervised, and a combination of both. The first one is the supervised vector machine, where a single SVM is learned using training connectomic features. The second method is a widely used hierarchical unsupervised clustering algorithm called words linkage clustering. This method was previously used for clustering high-order functional networks for Alzheimer's disease diagnosis in Chen's paper of MICCAI 2016. We further compared the classification accuracy of our method with 2 classification frameworks that combine both supervised and unsupervised techniques. The first one is similar based pairing plus SVM, and the second one is hierarchical words clustering based pairing plus SVM. Basically, we apply similar, respectively hierarchical words clustering on ASD samples then NC subjects separately. Our aim is to disentangle heterogeneous samples within the same group. For a given number C of clusters, each group of ASD and NC subjects is split into C subgroups. Afterwards, each ASD subgroup is paired with an NC subgroup, which will be merged to create a new training subset. Next, we train an SVM classifier on each merged subgroup of ASD and C subjects while adopting a leave one out scheme. Finally, a new testing subject will be evaluated by each SVM trained using a specific pair, thereby predicting its label. We then use majority voting across all SVMs to predict the final label. Each of these methods were evaluated on the concatenated low-order morphological networks that we term with LOMBN and the high-order morphological networks that we term with HOMBN. For evaluation, we used a 5 and 10-fold cross-validation schemes. In each cross-validation scheme, we exclude one fold and perform clustering on the remaining folds. The performance rate was calculated based on the misclassified points in each cluster. We get to our results, where for the left hemisphere, Unsupervised similar LOMBN achieved the best mean average accuracy across all methods, which might indicate that morphological connections between the left hemisphere regions altered by autism occur at a low order level. In other words, the left hemisphere provides connectivity rate between regions in the same morphological view depicts better the changes associated with autism than the high order relationship between pairs of regions across different views. Although our proposed framework scored better with the low-order network, we note that all comparison methods produce slightly better results when using high-order networks. Hemispheres, our method, the unsupervised similar. For the right hemisphere, our method, the unsupervised similar HOMBN, had the best performance in distinguishing between ASD and C subjects among all methods using both 5 and 10-fold cross-validation schemes, with an average performance of 61.7%, which might indicate that the right hemisphere features have more discriminative power at a higher order level. We report that an increase in accuracy was also observed with the hierarchical words clustering-based pairing plus SVM using the high-order features. However, for all other methods, a higher accuracy was obtained using morphological low-order features. This might reflect the large heterogeneity of autism in the way it affects morphological brain networks and its unpredictable behavior across all different classifiers. Previous studies pointed to the large heterogeneity present in autistic subjects, and how can this lead sometimes to conflicting results in terms of identified biomarkers. In our clinical findings, we identified the top 3 features by our method achieving the best classification accuracies for both hemispheres across all 10 and 5-fold cross-validation bands that showed actually consistency in results. Using the Laplacian score, the most discriminative high-order morphological connectional features for the right hemisphere connecting 2 pairs of airways are the transverse temporal cortex with paracentral lobule along with the ansular cortex. The second top high-order connection is the inferior temporal gyrus with pars triangular along with transverse temporal cortex and inferior temporal gyrus. And the last connection is transverse temporal cortex with lateral occipital cortex along with ansular cortex and inferior parietal cortex. For the left hemisphere, the top low-order connectional features connecting 2 airways are lateral occipital cortex and fusiform gyrus. The second one is ansular cortex and unmeasured corpus callosum, and finally we have inferior temporal gyrus and medial orbital frontal cortex. In this paper, we presented a high-order connectomic manifold learning using morphological brain networks for autism identification based on a novel and supervised similar technique. Our framework outperformed both supervised and unsupervised baseline methods and was able to further identify the most discriminative relationships between pairs of morphological brain connectivities. We aim in the future to leverage multi-view feature selection methods such as the work of Theo. Since our unsupervised learning method is generic, we can also use to investigate other neurological disorders such as dementia.
For more, please visit us at basira-lab.com and don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and cite our work. Thank you.